sure you're not wasting money or getting very upset about what should have actually been a positive pregnancy test, the very best time of day to take a pregnancy test is right away in the morning when you wake up, the very first pee of your day. This is especially important for people like myself, and I'm going to tell you why in this video. Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Nicole. Welcome back. I'm so excited to see you here. If you happen to be someone new just wondering when am I supposed to take a pregnancy test, I'm so glad you're here as well. A little about myself, I'm Dr. Nicole, a pelvic floor specialist, a mom of two, and I'm also on my own pregnancy journey about to be taking a pregnancy test as well. And I will be making sure that I take my test right away in the morning, first pee of the day, to get the most accurate results because I am what they would call a late ovulator. If you aren't really familiar with ovulation, it's basically when your egg is released and becomes ready to be fertilized, and that's usually the day that sperm meets up with your egg. And for the average person, this happens on day 14. Now, the average person is someone who has a 28-day cycle and is a very average length of ovulation. For me, however, even though I have somewhere around a 28, 29 day, maybe sometimes 30-day cycle, I ovulate a little bit later. I usually ovulate on day 18. And for this specific cycle, I did ovulate on day 18. I used natural cycles to track my ovulation and all that stuff. I'll link a video up here if you want to know more about how do I become familiar with my cycle. But for me, I know it was on day 18. So in order to get an accurate pregnancy test result, I need to go back to figure out, okay, how many days after ovulation would implantation occur? Now, there is a window of time when implantation could occur, and implantation is just when the fertilized egg attaches to your uterus, kind of makes its little home there. And this can happen anywhere from 6 days to 12 days after ovulation happened and sperm got together with the egg. So let's say for me it was as short as possible. It was only 6 days after ovulation happened that my egg implanted and made itself at home in my uterus. So if I ovulated on day 18 and it took 6 days for implantation to occur, that is day 24 of my cycle. And then we need there to be an increase in the HCG hormone in our body. And this takes around 5 or 6 days to happen. It's not like as soon as the egg gets implanted that the HCG levels go up right away. It takes like 5 or 6 days. So let's say it only takes me 5 days. So it implanted on day 24, and then it took 5 days for the hormone to go up. That would mean around day 29, I could have a positive pregnancy test. This is the weird part, or the little bit misleading part, because as I told you, I only have a 28 to 30 day cycle, and maybe you do as well. And if that's true, when you look at the pregnancy test, it says you can look for a positive test, or you can start testing 5 days before your missed period. You're like, yes, I don't have to wait for my missed period. However, if let's say I normally have a 30-day cycle and I tested 5 days before my missed period, that would be on day 25 of my cycle. And I just told you that it's going to take until day 29 for implantation plus the increase in hormones to happen, which means if I do a pregnancy test on day 25, most likely it's going to say negative, and it's not actually going to be negative. Or it could be actually negative. Either way, I have no idea if the results are accurate or not. So this leads to a couple of things. It leads to me taking a bunch of pregnancy tests a bunch of days in a row, getting excited, being let down, and going up and down with my emotions for about 4 days before there was even a chance that that pregnancy test was going to be positive. So I want to make sure that when I do decide to take this pregnancy test, I take it right away in the morning because my urine is going to have the most amount of that HCG hormone in the morning. It's the most concentrated that our urine is. Once we go pee, then there's just not quite as much of that hormone. If for some reason you can't do the test right away in the morning, maybe like me, you have kids and they wake up earlier than expected and you really have to pee, you don't have time to do the whole test thing and you're like, I just need to pee. The other thing that you could do is you could take this test about 4 hours after going to the bathroom. So you go to the bathroom and you hold it for about 4 hours to make sure that concentrate is high again. Also, in that time, you want to make sure that you're not drinking a ton of fluids because that could, again, dilute the amount of hormone that's going to show up on that test. Some people might think, well, I got to make sure I have a lot of pee, so I'm going to drink a bunch of water before I do this pregnancy test. You do not want to do that, because if you do, again, your urine's going to be diluted and it might not be able to detect that HCG hormone, especially if it's really early, as it will be for me if I test any time before my missed period. So my plan is to wait until at least day 29 to start testing or taking pregnancy tests, because for me, I just don't want to take a test, see that negative, be really disappointed, even though there could still be a chance that I'm pregnant. I actually looked up my pregnancy test, which I believe is just the Clear Blue brand that I'm planning to take. I use their ovulation sticks and I'm going to take their pregnancy test that came with it. And right on the directions, it says you can test 4 days early or 4 days before your missed period. And at that point, there's only a 53% chance that it's going to tell you you're pregnant if you are. So there's a 47% chance that you actually are pregnant and it's not going to be able to detect it. Even if you take it 1 day before your missed period, there's still only a 87% chance that it's going to tell you you're pregnant, and you're actually pregnant, which means there's a 13% chance that you're pregnant and it says that you're not pregnant. All that being said, is sometimes it's best to wait until that missed period happens and then test. Even the Natural Cycles app that I was using actually said, don't test until I think it was 7 days after my period was supposed to start. And I think that the reason that they do this is because they want to make sure that the result that you're getting on that pregnancy test is as accurate as possible. If you're someone that's like, I just can't wait, I want to know as soon as possible, and you're okay with the fact that it might show up negative even when it's positive, then test away, but make sure you are doing that test right away in the morning when your hormones are as potent as possible in your urine. If you're watching this video as soon as it comes out, then the video that's going to pop up over here is all about different fertility apps and how to make sure you're using them correctly so that they don't tell you that you're fertile when you're not actually fertile and keep you from getting pregnant. If you're watching this a little bit after it's been filmed and I've already done my pregnancy test, I'm going to put that video here so that you can see if we were successful this month in making our baby. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you all in the next video.